Hello everyone and welcome back to our second episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We are continuing on with the training sessions which are located here in somewhere in the Midwest of the USA. I don't know exactly where that is. We're doing some downwind training and then we're doing a full flight on the Cessna 172. We'll also be starting career mode very soon in some subsequent videos. I'm looking forward to seeing how that washes out and kind of seeing exactly how that entails and doing a proper full flight training school. Should be quite exciting and an interesting module to do for sure. Here we are in the Cessna Skyhawk 172 and the instructor will take over from here.
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. We are passing the end of the runway, so go ahead and reduce RPM to 1700. It will help you to slow you down to 80 knots and begin your descent.
You see, this is again the issue where my thing was set
The
to
flaps
lower.
provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current speed. We will turn to the base leg when the end of the runway is at a 45-degree angle behind us. Turn left onto the base leg. Try to keep our speed around 75 knots. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn.
Where's the runway?
Turn left onto final.
I can't even see the runway, but look, that looks class. Look at those graphics. Look at that, like, city
Make your
detail.
left turn onto final. Make your left turn onto final.
That's what I'm doing. We're too low.
Keep a stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing. Use throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope.
Yeah, the red puppy lights are telling us we're too low.
500.
Now we're on the right altitude. Now we're too high.
Apply the brakes and stop the plane. You followed the traffic pattern well. Good job.
And now finally for our first full flight. We'll be going through most of the trainings as I said in our previous video. So let's go into the first solo flight. This should be interesting. This will entail a taxi, I presume, a takeoff, a landing, and the pre-flight tracks. My GPU, by the way, is an RTX 2060 6GB of VRM. So obviously this game has become quite more beefy on the GPU since it's been released.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground, in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember everything we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side.
So yeah, this is kind of like there's no much commentation. We're in there here by ourselves, as you can see. We're doing the same downwind. We're just much words, including the takeoff as well. So you need full throttle to accelerate in the Cessna. I'm gonna go do it 1700 RPM. No, not too high. I don't know what's up with my yoke. It's as you can see, it's not centered. Trim is the issue. I was playing about my settings in this and zoom in table landing. Watch is going to say that was okay, but you could do better. Oh, if she even says that's okay.
You did well, but you can do better.
Yep, there you go.
You're on your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
So folks, that completes the Cessna 172 Skyhawk kind of like basic training. I know that landing was a bit shocking. I basically was just playing around there with the side stick, the trim, so I need to kind of figure out the settings of that. So let's go back to the training menu and then just kind of take a look at the settings. So if you go back, actually I might do the VFR navigation stuff as well. Yeah, we'll do the VFR navigation because that's all kind of related. Oh, actually, we'll leave it for a separate video. Oh no, we'll do it together. We'll do it together. Before that, if we go to settings and we go to controls, Trustmaster HG21 cockpit. Okay, I actually don't know. It'd just be useful to have a. It'd just be useful to see what the settings are because like I don't really know. That's a bit confusing, but it doesn't really say it here. So anyway, we'll just go into VFR navigation and we'll do this. Actually, I think this might be Arizona because a lot of the trainings, I think there's a flight training school in the US for Arizona. Like there's usually the flight training is done in Spain and the US. It's kind of the two main ones where most pilots will do the training.
Today we are going to leave our familiar airport of Sedona and venture south to reach Flagstaff Airport. To guide us, we will rely on the navlog. It references the different legs to complete to reach our final destination. Our first goal is to fly over the runway center at 6,500 feet with a heading of 42 degrees. By doing so, we will be perfectly set up to engage with the first leg of the navlog. After takeoff, we will continue crosswind as if we were following the standard traffic pattern. However, we won't turn downwind. Instead, we will continue climbing to 6,500 feet before turning on course toward the runway center. Okay, you can take off whenever you are ready.
So you can see here, this is a flight path. I think why is the plane fit? Yeah, so you have to do a turn. Like so. And Volksstadt, that sounds very German.
Nice command during takeoff. Your target altitude is 6,500 feet. That's 500 feet above the traffic pattern, as we don't want to interfere with incoming aircraft.
I think we just skip the flaps. I don't know when you meant to lift up the flaps, but if you lift up the flaps, we go above the airspeed, and then the Cessna is built full throttle descent comfortably.
As you climb, turn left so you stay in the vicinity of the airport. Maintain 75 knots.
This is at 60,000 feet. That's 6,500 feet. So I presume like all this flight will be broken up into the multiple sections that we saw there earlier, just in enough rather than all being in one flight. Bite-sized chunks. Okay, but potentially not.
Maintain 75 knots. Great. To ensure accurate navigation, you want an accurate starting point. And what's more accurate than the runway you just departed from? Go ahead and position your plane above the airport.
This is where you probably could use the trim, but like the trim you have to. I wonder what button was the I didn't check what keys the trim is on the keyboard. Rather than using the mouse, because I was thinking I have to use the mouse and click on it, but I think we can just use the keyboard. Shouldn't pay attention to that tutorial. It's 42 degrees. Oh, we're going the wrong way. 42 degrees is this way. Sorry, I was letting confused where the thing is. Oh, for flip's sake, we've lost our altitude. This is why you need to kind of pay attention to what you're doing.
Maintain 6,500 feet.
I know I'm not doing these tutorials in a very
Maintain 6,500 feet.
very well. Cool. So now we need to literally do a turn, but before we do the turn, we're just going to go to the end of the runway, because otherwise we're going to pass the runway before we do that. And we've lost too much altitude there.
Maintain 6,500 feet. That's good. That's it for navigation departure. Well done.
Great, so that's that. That wasn't particularly well done, I know. Yeah, obviously flying requires a lot of concentration. Who would have thought? I don't know what dead reckoning is, but we'll find out. Can I repeat the amount of time here, because we have to kind of try to get this done fairly quickly. I might have to stop this video in parts.
We're currently at 6,500 feet, about 30 seconds flight time to Sedona Airport. As we make our way toward the runway center, let's talk more about navigation. When you need to set and maintain a heading, you'll want to rely on your heading indicator. Compasses are prone to errors, especially during turns or while accelerating or decelerating. Okay, we're in position over the runway center. Next step is to validate the time. That's a fancy way of saying start your stopwatch.
Oh, okay, so let's start it there.
On the nav log,
This
you
is
can
also
see
new
our next
feature in
waypoint,
MFS
Munns Park,
2024
is at a
2020.
42-degree heading, about 5 minutes away. That means we need to be on a 42-degree heading. Check your heading indicator and make your turn. Good.
2 degrees northeast.
Maintain a 42-degree heading. As you approach Munns Park, the terrain level rises. To maintain a safe altitude, we'd better climb to 8,000 feet. Make sure you keep the same heading. Maintain full power during your climb.
Yes, folks, I'll do this training module then. I'm going to stop this video because I need to leave. I have other things to do. But we'll continue on this in the next episode. I probably should have split them up with the VFR from the get-go. And all it says is you have to be accurate. It's saying that if I'm at 30 degrees, 8 degrees, it's at 42 degrees.
Navigation is basically flying a given heading for a given amount of time. Sometimes you deviate. But if you track the time flown from your last known position, you'll always have at least a range for your current position. Okay, now get back to cruise attitude. Let the speed increase, then set cruise power at 2,300 RPM.
The trim button. I need to check what the trim buttons are. There used to be a feature where you could search what they are. So trim. So that's the aileron trim. See, that's the problem. They're both the same. So I'll just use a keyboard. So it's I and K. Nose down. So you want I and then K. Grand. Is that working?
Do you see the green patch with a lake on its right? This is Munns Park Golf Club. We're almost there.
This is actually the same
Let's proceed over it and check if
module
the
as in
stopwatch
2020.
matches the nav log estimation.
Because I remember there's a golf club.
We all know speed can increase or decrease depending on the wind. That's why at your next waypoint you'll want to compare your estimated time and route with the actual time flown. Validate your estimate and your progress.
Let me just tab. There's a runway there. I reached it.
Well done. But there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
Navigation to Munns Park is in the books.
Right, folks, so that's it. I'm going to stop this video here. We'll continue on with the training in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was useful. Do excuse some of the flying. We are learning here as we go. So yeah, trim is the next kind of thing that we're going to start using properly. As you can see there, it made a massive difference. You can also use the trim for the ailerons. So if you go to the training menu, I'll just quickly go through what we have left to do in the next episode. So next episode we'll do landmark navigation, arrival and flight solo verification. Then we'll do IFR in a separate video, we'll do helicopters in a separate video, bushes pilots in a separate video. We'll skip this, we'll see if I do this or not, and we'll do the introduction to airlines. Thanks for watching, for now.